Okay, I've got my partner here. That's a French dinosaur, I've been told to tell you. And for those who don't know, that's an Apatosaurus. But my daughter wanted me to bring that along and present it to you all. Sorry about that. Okay. So, my name's Geoff Bowden. I'm a developer and Scrum Master over at Agile Digital. We're just behind Crown Point there. And we do websites, intranets, and mobile apps. We're probably not the only ones doing those, but we are the biggest provider of digital services to the healthcare market. Now, I've made a couple of mistakes coming here tonight. Not only the nerves, but also I've got a big subject and a small talk. It's a very visual talk I've got with lots of slides that I've ripped off of the internet, just like that one. So I found out about Sketchnoting at Developer North. It's a one-day conference this year held Saturday, 24th of October at Sunderland University. They hold others around the country, but you've got to go south to those. About 5 talks during the day, and the first 2 talks with me were Sketchnoting for Developers by Derek Graham. That's where I nicked this talk from, by the way. I really know nothing. And also, you're going to have to bear with me with this one. It's You Keep Using the Word Agile. I do not think it means what you think it means by Nathan Gloyn. Thankfully, his talk was much shorter than his title and much punchier too. Now, he thinks we need more awareness of the reasons to use Agile on an Agile team. He thinks that a lot of Agile teams are just following the ceremonies, following the process, day in, day out, doing the grind without understanding the why, and that the performance of those teams will be enhanced if they understood the why. And I think he's probably right. So moving on to what is sketchnoting. If you hang around long enough with sketchnoting, you'll find this guy, Mike Roeder, and he's the Sketchnote Handbook. And he says that sketchnoting is taking notes by purposefully doodling. It's basically the recording ideas visually using pictures and words. It's using lines and arrows to link concepts. It's using boxes and shapes to group them. It's using shadows and icons to emphasize and express what those concepts are. It's building a personal language out of pictures and words. It's thinking visually, recording visually, and remembering and recalling the same way. If they're worried it's a personal language, because at the end of the day, natural language is a very personal language, which is why we get a lot of misunderstandings every day with our conversations. So the why of using sketchnoting is, it focuses our minds during talks. You've got to be thinking visually, you've got to be actively looking for word and picture associations. So the theory is you're going to hear the words a bit better than if you were just writing them down. And it fills the boring bits like this. Thank you for sketchnoting this bit, Craig. Thanks. Yeah. Cheers. So you get to colour existing pictures, you get to finish your half-done pictures. That's very important. If there's another concept that comes up that you want to record, you have to move on, but you will get to go back and finish pictures, and you get to box or shadow your big concepts. And it aids memory. Students taking longhand notes, they tend to remember more. They tend to understand more of the concepts presented to them than people who are taking notes on a laptop, people who are just typing. This is thought to be because of active processing. Now, another technique is non-linear note-taking, mind maps, and that's really just grouping information so that your mind's ready to recall it, and it's in the right order for your mind to recall it, and you've got the links that your mind understands. Now, sketchnoting adds to both of these. Again, it's non-linear note-taking, but now you've got pictures backing up your words, and pictures are more instantly recognisable than words, at least if I haven't drawn them. And, of course, they're more easily remembered. And the last thing is because it's fun. And it's great practice for Pictionary, and Christmas season is upon us. You might be needing that. And then we've got the elements of sketchnotes. So we've got lines, we've got graphs, we've got the arrows there, we've got boxes, shadows. There's a tree in there. You might not recognise it, but that's what I think a tree looks like in summer. We've got icons down the bottom and speech bubbles. Now, 2 tips on this picture are, when you're doing speech bubbles, do the text first. Otherwise, you might just miss. The other one is to fill the paper. When you are doing a sketch note, fill everywhere on the paper. Make it look great. Don't let blank space get in the way. So who can sketchnote? Well, anyone can sketchnote, but you all knew I was going to say that, right? You knew that was coming. That book there, so good I've repeated it 3 more times. It's by Mark Lindley. It's more for sketching, more for art than it is for sketchnoting, but it does have a section at the back on cartooning. Rather good. And it's a highly recommended book, but in it, he gives 3 bits of advice for those who want to draw. It's be confident and bold, and it's look and look again at the subject matter, and it's more importantly, it's be pleased with your progress. As you're learning to draw, be pleased with all the progress you make. And also, that nature doesn't have any more lines in it, any shapes more complex than those that are in the alphabet. So if you can write your name, you can draw. Now this is a quick brown fox. I know you can read it, but this is a quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and that's my handwriting. Now you might think I'm a doctor, but no, I just have atrocious handwriting. But however, if I'm willing to give it a go, I don't see why anyone else can't. Maybe you can't think of anything to draw? Well, you can go to the Noun Project website. It's a dictionary for sketchnoters by sketchnoters, and you'll find lots of little icons there provided for you that you can rip off. And the other times you've got a message that you want to give out, just Google it, Google images, find the image you want, steal it, simplify it, and repeat that process till you build up your message, and then go and draw it. And now, you've got my first one, maybe you see that. That's called Badly Drawn Boats. It's bloody atrocious. This is for a retrospective with the team. Now the team come in, now we've got a sign in ready, but they see that and they start taking the, can you believe they mock that? Can you believe it? But they reckon that's bloody awfully drawn. And the quietest, shyest guy you could ever imagine, never get him speaking in a meeting, goes, why have you got 2 ways of steering it? Who knew I'd drawn that? So someone leaps up and draws wheels to say, well, it's just going to drive over the iceberg. We're going to get over the iceberg. What a great way to start a retrospective. Everyone is involved. The next one, that's my first attempt at office art. And that's just to explain the Agile Manifesto to them. That's straight from the second talk. And that's just really the same process. Think about what you want to say. Find some icons to do it. It took a little while. The power tools started off as hand tools. That makes sense, they evolved into power tools. And that chameleon down the bottom representing change, well, that took about 3 of us all day to get it that good. If you think that's bad, you should see how I started it. It actually became known as Andy the Agile Chameleon, but then, of course, the real purpose of that is to start conversations. And I had people coming in from other offices to see this great artwork that we'd all done and to ask me questions about Agile. And another one, doesn't come out too well, but that's minimum viable product, being the minimum viable function set. We had an engineer in the office using a minimum viable product to suggest we should do the minimum amount of work for every task that we take off that board. Obviously that's not what the minimum viable product is for, so I start drawing that in the office, and there you've got the product owner giving his vision to the customers, and the customers giving him instant feedback, and we're maximising our value and minimising risk, which is a strangely drawn flame. And a business analyst walks by and asks me questions about it. And suddenly in the office we've got yet another conversation about Agile, and I've not heard minimum viable products misused in the office since. And that really is the take home. Using sketchnotes in the office starts conversations. Conversations are a big tenet of Agile, big part of Agile, so sketchnoting is Agile too. If you're like me, you have to practice, but my children like to draw on me, so I get lost of that. And this is where I nicked all the pictures from. If you want to take a photo of that, you'll find some really good stuff there. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening.